Are you a good person or a bad person? I, for one, certainly consider myself a good person. Oh, wait, no, not really. I used to consider myself or think of myself as this good, quote unquote, good person. Uh, but then, as life went on, and I got older, and I started, hurting people who love me a lot, who care about me, genuinely cared about me, and I started hurting a lot of those people, and I hurt, I have hurt a lot of people, and it keeps me up at night, and since then, like since I started hurting people, and I realized that I'm not really a good person. This good person persona. People, I think everybody thinks of themselves as a good person, or at least a lot of people consider themselves when they think of themselves. They think that they're a good person. Maybe they're a good father, a good mother, a good friend, a good whatever, like good boyfriend, good girlfriend. But the thing is, most people, if not most, at least a lot of people think of themselves as a good person. But that is a house of glass that can be broken very easily. It can be shattered. That reality, which is not, which is a egoic projection of oneself, that can be easily shattered the moment you become angry, and you let your rage get the better of you, and you hurt the people who love you, who really care about you, and that changes you. That changes the way you start looking at yourself. You used to think that you're this saintly kind of good person, but well, not anymore. I mean, that was a illusion. You were never really a good person, like me. Maybe like me, or maybe not. Maybe you are a good person, and you still believe or feel, or you still maybe you are genuinely a good person. It is possible to be a good person. Um, but then again, good is to call oneself good is very dangerous, because how the ego works. You start thinking of yourself of this good person, but then it is better to be skeptical of one's own ego and egoic image than to not to be. It is probably wiser to be more skeptical of one's own ego than to not be. And I for oneself, I for one have a, I'm not really a good person. I mean, I've heard a lot of people, and I mean, I strive to be good, or I aspire to be good, and I aspire to be a good person, and I try. Maybe not my best. I cannot really say, if I'm being honest. I don't really try my best, but I try. But there are just some problems, and the reason I'm making this video is simple. I want people. Sometimes your inner thoughts are you can resonate. You can find people who are ready to speak your own inner thoughts, but it's just that one's own deepest inner demons, or inner thoughts, or inner struggles, it is difficult to put them into words. Sometimes people struggle, people who suffer from depression, or sometimes, sometimes a lot of people are not in that place where they can just confidently say that, that I'm not a good person. But the reason I'm making this is so that you can maybe hear your own voice. I mean, I'm sure that it's not just me, because if I go on the internet, I can find a lot of people who are writing about the same things on maybe some Reddit forum, or on some YouTube videos. I can find people who are saying the same things. So yeah, it's just you can think of this like a how should I say this? Like, I'm kind of, you can say, like venting in a way, but I want the venting to be productive. Maybe you can say, you can think of that like a positive venting, if you will. Uh, that I just want, I just thought like, I have this mouth, I have this voice, but I just want to use this voice for something meaningful, like something that makes some meaning, can some add some positive value to someone's life. I can make any videos on YouTube, but it just doesn't satisfy me, if I'm being honest. If I don't make videos that I genuinely don't think, that I genuinely don't feel that I am, in YouTube is a show. It's like television. You have a YouTube channel, or you come across a YouTube channel where somebody says something, or where somebody's presenting something. So they're putting up a show. Everybody is putting up a show on YouTube. Not It's not like, I don't want you to see it in any negative way, but it's just that putting up a show means you cannot be authentic, especially if you want to entertain someone. If you want to entertain people, you have to put up a show. You cannot be real and also feel like, yes, I can entertain someone. If you want to entertain, you have to put up a show, and putting up a show is not authentic. But if done with the right intentions, then it is authentic in itself. Because maybe, hey, maybe you're maybe, like, look at the example of a stand-up comedian. He's trying to make people laugh. I mean, that is a very valuable thing that he's doing. The role of a stand-up comedian in the community, or in humanity, it's a big value. They add a lot of value to people's life because they make people laugh. They make people forget about their worries for like an hour or so, and they dedicate their entire life dedicate their entire lives to make people laugh, which is like a really valuable thing to do. Really, like, it's something which is of really high value. Um, and it's not easy to be a stand-up comedian, because when it is your profession to be a stand-up comedian, you are expected to be funny, even if, let's say, someone close to you dies. You're expected to show up and be funny, and it's not at all easy. I mean, if you can imagine, right? How can you be funny when, let's say, your wife died, or someone very close, someone close to you, maybe they died, or something really tragic happened to your life, but tomorrow you have a Netflix show, a special that you signed up for, and they paid you a lot of money, and you have to go and you have to make those people laugh, right? So now you cannot really do anything about it, can you? You have to do it no matter what. So, yes, entertaining, anything, probably, if done with the right intentions. The intention behind, yeah, something, activities, whatever activity you do in your life, whether it's to earn money, or like, for anything that you're doing in your life. Maybe you want to get into a relationship with someone or something. The intent behind your activities, I feel, is very important. You have to ask yourself, what is the intention? Why am I doing this? And you have to be real, at least with yourself. I mean, at least when you're putting up a show, you have to be real. You have to ask yourself why you're doing why you're doing the thing that you're doing. And in that sense, you can do things, and you should do things that you think is for a genuine reason. It's the reason has to be genuine. The intention has to be of something good, or something, at least something that you think is good. So yeah, it's whether are you a good person? Maybe you are, maybe you are not. But, well, good is relative, but in this relativity of goodness, what really matters is whether you think you're good or not. If you think, and you have to be genuine. It's not like see, in this egoic trap, the biggest ego trap is that, oh yeah, I'm giving you validation, right? You can hear my whatever I'm saying, and you can take it up as validation. and you can use this validation to feel your, maybe you're doing, maybe deep down you know that you're doing something wrong, but you can use validation from other people, and you can take up whatever other people are saying. You can use that as a validation, as a form of validation to justify your actions or your activities. But all you really got to do is ask yourself, and genuinely ask yourself, because ultimately, see, why why is it, just consider for a second, why is it that it matters if you hurt someone or not? See, when you're hurting someone, it's not really the other someone who is getting hurt. You know, when you shoot someone, let's say you have a gun and you shoot someone and the other person dies, you also die in the same way. Like, you die with the other person, if you know what I mean. Have you ever watched some movies? I'll give you an example of this movie, Gran Torino. I believe Torino or Torino. Gran Torino, directed by Mr. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is the starring main character, his grandfather, and not grandfather, but this grandpa kind of figure. And this movie, Gran Torino, if you have watched that movie, in that movie he has this. There's a line where there's this young kid, and he tells him that he went to war, and in war he has killed people, as a I mean, in the line of duty, for his own country, he had to kill people, a bunch of people, maybe more, during war. And he tells this young man that you never want to know what it's like to kill someone. Like, he's telling him, and you will come across, I feel and I believe that there are many movies like that, or something like you can come across real people in real life, but it's difficult to come across real people in real life who will openly acknowledge that they have killed people. I mean, if they have done so in the course of war, that's a different thing. But they won't even if they have done that, even as soldiers in war, they will still not, maybe, they won't be proud about it, or and brag about it, right? So it's difficult to come across such people in real life. But the point is that, if people who have killed other people, they often say that it hurt them. It hurts them and it changed them. They say, like, it changed them forever. Why do you think it changed them? What happens, what I speculate is, when people kill other people, their hearts become stone cold. You can feel, they feel this coldness, this like they feel like the heart has gone cold, really cold. It feels like that, maybe because when I hurt other people, this is how I feel. I feel like my heart is like, it's like my heart is almost dying. It's like something in my heart is burning, and not really burning. It almost feels like my heart is sinking, and it feels very real, and it physically, literally feels like my heart is collapsing. It's like I'm having a chest pain, kind of like a stomach, not a stomach, like a heart attack, but kind of, my heart gets compressed and stuff, and my consciousness, consciousness changes, but more like it feels my heart gets something. There's a pressure, like my heart becomes like a stone. So, not to, I know I'm becoming a little too philosophical while I'm talking about it, but it's just that hurting other people and hurting yourself is the same thing. There's really no difference. Observe it next time. If you hurt someone out of anger or rage, if you have ever done so, if you do so in the next time, just observe how your own consciousness changes and how you change, because it's you who gets hurt, because other people, they're just appearing as other people. They're just you. Everything is you. Consciousness is you. So that is just another clue. How these enlightened people keep saying, right, that consciousness is one, and it's you. It's just, there are clues, there are the evidence, and what you may call it, like the proof and stuff, right? It's all over, it's everywhere. All you have to do is open your eyes and see. And you have to have a genuine intention to know. then you will know. It's important to be a skeptic, but I feel that when it comes to skepticism, it's far more important to be a skeptic of one's own nature and one's own self. uh, the best kind of skepticism is the one which is applied to one's own self. But then again, don't go overboard doing that. Don't be like a skeptic so hard on yourself that you think that you lose all your self confidence, that that you question everything that you tell yourself. I mean, you have to be smart, and you have to grow some intelligence to understand how far to go, how to draw where's the line. You know how people say, where do we draw the line? You know, it takes intelligence to see where you have to draw the line. I struggle with it a lot. I'm a very black and white kind of person. I tend to be that, even though I know that that's completely wrong. Life is all about gray areas. You have to be able to find out what those gray areas are. You have to find out the gray zone. You know, there's in life nothing is black and white. You know, even if you might find some mundane things like the color white and the color black. They're literally they are black and white. But if you use that metaphorically speaking in life, a lot of things, and especially the deepest things, the most meaningful things in life, are kind of like the gray area, and you have to be able to see the gray, gray in things, in the middle ground, the line. You have to see the line, and I have to see that too because I struggle with that a lot. um and yeah, thank you for joining.